In today's climate, people associate agreeance with love. Now, because you agree with me, you love me. And they associate disagreement with enmity, hatred, jealousy, and a lack of love. That because I disagree with you, that somehow means that I dislike you. That somehow means that I don't love you. That somehow means that I got an issue with you. Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean any of that. I can disagree with you and still love you. And this is more important between husband and wife. I don't have to agree with you, in order for you to, think that I love you. Don't associate me agreeing with you with the fact that I love you. Don't associate me disagreeing with you with the fact that I don't love you. One has nothing to do with the other. All right. Therefore, it is always wise, to lead difficult conversations with reassurance of your love for your spouse so that they don't misconstrue your approach as one that is void of love and understanding. So it's always good to say, honey, I love you, but can I give you some advice about this particular issue? Babe, I love you, but can I, here again, asking permission to give the person criticism? Because the worst type of criticism is unsolicited criticism. I didn't ask you for your criticism. So you lead with, number one, honey, I love you. Baby, I love you. Can I give you just a little bit of advice on this issue? And then you give them an opportunity to welcome the advice. Yeah, sure, not a problem. Okay, so in this issue, you said this, or you said that, or you did this, you did that. And then you give the admonishment, focusing on the issue, not making it a personal attack on the individual. All you admonishers, did you follow in the step? This is a step-by-step process. Step-by-step process. Lead with love. Ask permission to give constructive criticism. When you give constructive criticism, focus on the issue. Don't make it a personal attack on the individual. Right? And make sure that it's done in private. Five-step process. And then, of course, make sure that you are giving the constructive criticism for help, not for hurt. You're giving it for help, not to hurt them. To help them, not to hurt them. Number two, privately. Number three, lead with love. Honey, I love you. Ask permission to give advice. Can I give you some advice? Can I give you some admonition? Your spouse might say, no, keep your advice to yourself. I don't want to hear it. Okay, at that point, do you proceed to continue giving the person the advice, or do you yield? Knowing that the person just said, I don't want to hear your advice. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Do you press on them? Do you push them? Do you impose on them? Or do you yield at that point because you already see that the person is overwhelmed by whatever situation just transpired, and they really don't want to hear your critique at this point? And we have to know when to yield. If you ask, hey, honey, can I give you some advice? No, I don't want to hear your advice. Keep your advice to yourself. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean you lost. That doesn't mean you wiggle your way around the conversation to try to find a way to get in there, because you just absolutely have to say what you need to say in that moment. The person said, keep your advice to yourself. Okay, khalas. Done deal. You don't want to hear what I have to say. It's fine. They're obviously triggered in that moment. Leave them. You asked for permission to give advice. Your permission was not welcomed. Leave it. But if you superimpose, guess what's going to happen? Well, I know you don't want to hear it, but it's like, well, wait a minute. If you know I don't want to hear it, why are you proceeding? Why are you persisting? Like, leave it. Maybe I'll hear it later. Can we talk about it later? Fine. But do you absolutely have to say it right now in this moment? So, number one, criticism, constructive criticism is for help, not for hurt. That's a reminder to yourself as you approach. Number two, should be done in private, not in front of other people. You don't want to fight with the ego. You don't want to critique the ego. You want to critique the person and their actions or their behavior. All right. Focus on the issue. Don't make it a personal attack on them. Don't come for their intellect. If it's a woman, don't come for her motherhood. Don't come for her parenting. Don't come for her Focus on the issue. This is a man, don't come for his intellect. Don't come for his masculinity. Don't come for his manhood. Like some women that you come out both guns blazing. You coming for my manhood. Like, focus on the issue. Stop making it a personal attack on me and all men because all men do that. No, first of all men don't do that. Like, take you have some latent, feminism with you. Like, take that somewhere. Take that energy somewhere. You understand? Don't make it an all-out attack on all men, all right? Don't do that. That's not fair. Focus on the issue. Is that what you need to say to me at this moment? Or is there something more specific that triggered you? Focus on the specifics. Don't generalize and exaggerate. We already talked about that. Stick to the issue. Say what you need to say and keep it moving. You don't control the hearts. Allah does. If the person totally dismisses what you say, you did your part. I did my part. All right? And reassure your spouse of their love. And once the matter is resolved, learn how to forgive, forget, and move on. That's number 5. Once the matter is resolved, forgive, forget, move on. Get back to that stage of the pre-conflict stage. The overall goal of conflict resolution is to get back to the pre-conflict stage, to get back to where we were before this conflict came up. You guys follow me? That's the goal. The goal is to get back. An inexperienced couple never makes it back to the pre-conflict stage. They get wrapped up in the conflict. They get consumed by the conflict. The conflict owns them instead of them owning the conflict. You guys follow me? Get back to the pre-conflict stage. That's the goal. Attack the issue, get it out the way, get back to where you were before this issue came up. That's the goal. Don't get wrapped up. Some people get wrapped up, lost in the issue, and they never make it back to the pre-conflict. Some people have been wrapped up in their issues for years. They have never made it back to the pre-conflict stage. Their marriage has been nothing but conflict. They have never made it back. Pre-conflict stage is so far-fetched. They don't even know what that looks like anymore. What does my marriage actually even look like before conflict? I can't even remember. Conflict has been so frequent in my marriage that I don't even know what it feels like to be in a space with my spouse where we don't have any conflicts. That's sad. It really is. To have been conditioned and, just kind of consumed by conflict after conflict. Shaitan got you on the hamster wheel, chasing your tail. One conflict after another, one conflict after another. It never stops. You can never get back to the pre-conflict stage. Yeah.